How are you? It's Sarah here, founder of the Emotional Health Coach Academy, hopping on to talk to you about coaching personalities, which is quite possibly one of my favorite subjects. So, if you're here watching on the replay, say hello, won't you? Let me know that you're here. Put a little hashtag replay in there so I know that you've been. And if you're watching me live when Facebook notifies you and you get to see us live, then please say hello, let me know that you're here, and ask me any questions that you've got. Now, to get the best out of this session, I recommend that you take the quiz. Okay, if you're interested in becoming a coach and you're interested in psychology and you want to find out more about yourself and what life might be like for you as an emotional health coach, then take the quiz. I've popped the link to the quiz somewhere around this video. I think it might be above it. So do that. It will literally take you, I don't know, it's 30 questions and they're multiple choice. So a couple of minutes at most. And then when you've done that, leave your email address and your name so that I can send you the PDF, okay? As there's a PDF report, and in there it goes into detail in the 3 personality types. And what I would love for you to do when you get hold of that is to go through it with a pen and mark off everything that you feel actually resonates with you. All right. But before we do that, I'm just going to run through some of those things with you. Hey, Louisa, thank you very much. Yes, it is today. I've forgotten how old I am. I'm not going to admit to how old I am. So yeah, thank you very much, and great to see you here and lovely to have you join us. So personality types, then we work a lot with personality types in the Emotional Health Coach Academy. We don't have 16, we just have 3. We like to keep it very simple. And we use them with our clients and we use them with our coaches to help them understand themselves and to also bring out the best in them. So that sometimes we have these challenges in our businesses, we have these challenges in life, and we can't quite see why. And when you know what your personality type is, it gets easier to identify some of the problems that come up and some of the things that you find easy. So when you find something easy, when you found your strength, you really want to double down on that, but you don't want to ignore your weaknesses either. You want to be making sure that when you identify your weaknesses as a coach and in a business, that you can put things in place to stop them from holding you back, okay? So take the quiz. That's the first thing that we want to do. Then we want to be looking at personality types. So first of all, what is a personality type? Basically, it's based on your character, the way that you behave, your temperament, your social, emotional, and cognitive, your thinking traits. And they're all specific to each of us. And what we tend to do is fall into one or more of these categories. So there's only 3. We've got, I've got my layout, compassionate, intuitive, and optimum. Okay, those are the 3 personality types that we use. And as I go through this, it might be that you think, yes, I'm this one, yes, I'm that one, and yes, I'm the other one. You'll see yourself in all 3, and that's right, that's what we want to do. But what tends to happen is when we're on an even keel, you know that feeling when everything's just right with your life? When we're on an even keel, we've got one that's more dominant, and when we're under pressure, so when that pressure gauge is up and you're in the red zone, another one might be more dominant. And when that personality type is more dominant under pressure, those are the kind of actions or reactions that we take that we need to really look at and make sure that we're filling the gaps, okay, because they can become our weaknesses. So hopefully that makes sense to you. All right, so let's have a look then at the compassionate coach, and tell me if you recognize yourself in this as a compassionate coach, and whether you kind of, I don't know, maybe rate yourself, maybe say, yes, I feel like I'm 80% this or 30% that as we go through. So a compassionate coach then is someone who has a beautiful imagination, and they can build things up in their mind, and they can overreact quite easily when something doesn't live up to that perfectly created image that they had in their mind, which means they easily feel let down. Okay, compassionate coaches are really honest. They wear their heart on their sleeve. They are genuinely and have the most genuine interest in other people at the forefront of their minds. So they are genuinely putting other people before themselves. However, when that kindness that they give doesn't come back, it can leave them feeling a little bit misunderstood and a little bit frustrated as well, which if it goes undetected, then it can manifest and it can grow, and it can be really difficult for them. They can feel misunderstood, and they can get a little bit defensive sometimes and a bit detached. All right, so let me know again if that sounds like you. Compassionate coaches often imagine where they want to be in their business. So they have this beautiful idea. They're really good at visioning. They're really good at having the ideas and putting things in place. But because they're not process orientated, they often get left behind. So they have this idea of where they want to be, but actually where they are is back here. And to get to that stage is quite difficult for them because they're not very process orientated. Okay, so this can leave them with a great big gap, and when they're in that place, you can obviously get a little bit frustrated as well. The other thing about a compassionate coach is that they just want to help you, and they'll probably try and help you for free as well, or reduce their costs, just to make it as easy as possible for that other person to get the help that they need. Now, when this happens, it's really, really difficult to run a business because you end up with issues with cash flow. And you perhaps don't feel like you're valued when you realize that you haven't earned any money, and that again leads to all kinds of other problems as well. So a compassionate coach is more likely to procrastinate about process orientated aspects of running a business. So you can give them the steps to follow, but they're more likely to procrastinate on them simply because they find them a little bit too hard, a little bit too boring, or they push them out of their comfort zone too much. Okay, that's pretty much what procrastination is. So if you're a compassionate coach, basically, to sum up, you're warm-hearted, you're friendly, you're approachable. You give a warmth and a depth of warmth to your relationships, which makes it really, really easy for you as a coach to draw out what's going on in another person and help them put it right. So you're more likely to have a feeling mind than a thinking mind, and go with your emotional responses. Okay. All right. So that's the compassionate coach. Now, the compassionate coach strengths are they care deeply about somebody else, they have empathy for them, they wear their heart on their sleeve, they're very sensitive and sensitive natured, they respond very quickly to the other person's needs. So in a coaching session, that is a fantastic trait to have. You've got somebody in front of you and you can respond very quickly to the way that they are, what they're saying, how they're being, how they're feeling. Then that's fantastic to be able to do that on the spot. Sometimes they're a little bit too easygoing and don't push their clients hard enough because they don't want to upset them. So that's something that a compassionate coach would need to be aware of and be happy to chat to develop themselves. And they can easily help and relate to clients who have problems, emotional symptoms, habits and behaviors, anything that's quite compulsive and in the moment. Okay, and also confidence. So with a compassionate coach, probably the biggest thing to build on is inner confidence in themselves, and they will see that easily in their clients as well. Okay, so let's move on then to the optimum coach. So the optimum coach is almost the polar opposite to the compassionate coach. And even if you've seen yourself in the compassionate coach, don't rule yourself out yet of the optimum coach. So optimum coaches are very much problem solvers. So they can look at what's going on and they just want to find a solution. So problem, solution, let's match that up. That's their goal in life, okay? And they like to take actions, processes, systems, all of those steps in place. They love to have all that so they can see a very clear path in how they're actually going to achieve their goal. Optimum coaches are strong-willed, they're focused, they're methodical, and they are disciplined, which means when it comes to those business goals, it becomes easier for them to achieve them than it does the compassionate coach. Okay, remember the compassionate coach has that gap. This is where I want to be, but I'm struggling with the systems and processes because they're too hard, too boring, pushing me out of my comfort zone. Whereas the optimum coach is more like, this is where I want to go. These are the steps I'm going to take. And they just take them, okay? More likely to take them. Optimum coaches are more thinkers rather than feelers. So they're a little bit more detached from their emotions than the compassionate coach there. They're curious, they're inquisitive, they have amazing organizational skills, and they're great for running a very efficient business. Optimum coaches see financial value in everything and are more likely to charge for their time. They value their time, they value their resources, they value their knowledge, and they're more likely to charge a fee that reflects that. Whereas the compassionate coach is more, I just want to help you. Okay, don't worry about the money, I just want to help you. That's more the compassionate coach, whereas the optimum coach actually sees the value and recognizes that easier than the compassionate coach. Okay, so let me know if this is making sense to you, won't you? Optimum coaches set very high standards for themselves. They have a tendency to be a perfectionist, and the problem with that is that they get very frustrated. They get very frustrated when they don't actually meet their goals. So they tend to not see how far they've come, but focus on the gap between where they are and the goal that they want to achieve. And that can be quite, that can pull them down quite a lot because they're focusing on the wrong area there. So optimum coaches love value science. They love evidence. They love a fact and a figure. And they're very good at asserting control. Okay, so they appear very cool, calm, and collected, but sometimes they have that inner frustration there that's bubbling away. So optimum coaches then love planning, love organizing, committed to carrying out their goals, very good for business, strive for excellence, will leave no stone unturned when their client is sat in front of them. They have an idea of where they want to get their client to. If their client doesn't meet up with that, they can obviously sometimes take that as a personal thing. Maybe I've not been good enough. Maybe I've not been good enough for my client. Maybe I've missed something. So they tend to be a little bit like that. So let me know if that sounds like, Louise is saying, yes, this is me. So the optimum. Yeah. So what you tend to do then is tend to have this standard of where you want your client to be, and when they don't get to that standard, it gets really quite self-blaming. And so something to watch out for there, because usually an optimum coach has gone above and beyond the call of duty with a client. Like I said, leaves no stone unturned, and therefore it's usually just not quite the right time for the client, and they're going at their own pace and not the pace that you would like them to go. Okay, because when we go through our program, we talk about the way that a client will go through it textbook fashion, and usually with the 8-session signature program that we offer, when a client gets to number 6, if they're going through it textbook fashion, they have this big light bulb moment, and after that it's just support, making sure that they don't need that emotional crutch in terms of the sessions anymore. But not every client will go through it like that. Some people will take a little bit longer, maybe an extra session or two, and some people just have lots of mini light bulb moments that build up. So an optimum coach would be looking out for that textbook client, because that's what they would ideally like. So they love routines, they love rituals. They can have obsessive habits, so you can brood and overthink about things as an optimum coach there, which is something to watch out for. Okay, the intuitive coach. And Louisa, if you're still following on, it might be that you see quite a lot of the intuitive coach in yourself as well, okay? Because like I said, when everything's just ticking along nicely, we have one dominant personality type. And when that pressure gauge goes up into that red zone, there'll be other things that we do from a different personality type there. You're still there. Brilliant. Okay, so tell me, Louisa, if this sounds like you. The intuitive coach. So this is the sort of person that will walk into a room and just knows what's going on even before anybody said anything, because they're so tuned in to unspoken that unspoken language, that body language, that vibe, that feel. So intuitive coaches, they have a really outgoing nature. They're able to put their clients at ease literally within minutes. They're like your new best friend. They have a really good imagination, just like the compassionate coach. But they're less likely to take on the problems. So the compassionate coach can be quite duty bound and take on all the emotion, whereas the compassionate coach is less like that. However, the intuitive coach is more likely to struggle to see things through to the end. So they love the plan and the process and the vision. However, they get so far something might derail them, and then that's it, all the toys out the pram, that's it, this isn't working for me, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's kind of like that, you know, when you sign up for the gym in January, I'm going to go twice a week, I'm going to go twice a week, 3 times a week. And then it gets to the end of January and it's somebody's birthday and you don't go that week for whatever reason it is. And then that's it, I've blown it. Never going to go again. Hang up the gym shoes, but you won't cancel. Yes, you won't cancel the gym membership, but like that's it, you probably don't go anymore. So that's like the intuitive coach. So if you're doing that in your business, you're gonna hit that bump in the road and it's gonna derail you. So that's something to really watch out for. So intuitive coaches then, they can be very gregarious, they can be very impressive in confidence, but sometimes that confidence is just a show of confidence, and inside they can feel a little bit cross. Yeah, baby out with the bathwater. I do that loads. Yeah, exactly. So that's the intuitive coach in you there. And so sometimes that they kind of crave that external validation. So you want your client to say, this is brilliant, I've done so well, I feel so good. And if they don't tell you that, then the self-doubt starts to appear and the cracks start to appear. So intuitive coaches can be quite overreactive to things, overreactive to life, business. They can be physically dramatic, emotionally dramatic, very animated. She says, waving her arms about like this. The most animated of the 3 personality types that we talk about in the academy. Usually everything is unbelievably good or unbelievably awful. It's kind of like one end or the other, and they can swing emotionally in that way as well. So intuitive coaches then are really good at reading those non-verbal clues. They're very good at picking up intuitively. They go by their gut. They are a very good judge of character. They're usually right unless they're in a high state of anxiety, in which case the whole thought process can get skewed. They know what to say and when to say it to get maximum impact with their clients. They're not afraid of addressing things head on, okay, in a client situation. So if their client is in front of them and they're being a bit conflicting with what they're saying, an intuitive coach would be straight in there with it, picking it up and challenging them straight away, which is a really good trait to have. They're quite spontaneous. They like to get things done. They like to keep the needle moving forward. Whereas an optimum coach wants to really think about this, have the plan, see the plan, know the plan, and then start taking the steps so that they have it all laid out. And so the difference would be the compassionate coach, the very first one we talked about, has the vision, struggles with the steps, even though they're laid out in front of them because they just find following processes too hard. The optimum coach has the goal, sees the steps, wants to think about the steps in detail before they actually take the journey and then start. The intuitive coach is really, really good at having the vision, seeing the steps and keeping going until they are derailed, until there is a roadblock, and then everything, just like you say, baby out with the bathwater. Okay. All right. So intuitive coaches are very passionate. They're very purpose-driven people. They've got a strong desire to help everybody that crosses their path. They're lively, they're outgoing, they have a get things done attitude, they want to move things forward all of the time. They're very instinctive, very direct, very good at challenging people on the spot, and are natural cheerleaders of other. They've got a bit of a sixth sense that they tune into and rely on quite a lot. Now, intuitive coaches are more likely to have those physical symptoms. And so we talk about, let's just draw it out on the back wall there. We talk about emotional symptoms, habits and behaviours, fears and phobias, and also unexplained physical symptoms. So each one of those personality types is more likely to fall into one or another of these categories. And so a compassionate coach is more likely to have the emotional symptoms and the habits and behaviours, as an example. An intuitive coach is more likely to have the emotional and the physical symptoms. So unexplained migraines, headaches, poor skin, blushing, IBS, tension, the bruxism where they grind the teeth, all of those kind of things. And then the optimum coach is more likely to have the emotional and the fears and phobias. So that's more the irrational fears and phobias. So we mentioned right back at the beginning that the compassionate coach would be it's more about confidence with them and self-esteem. With the optimum coach, it's more about being in control. And with the intuitive coach, it's more about the social pressure, the fear of judgment, that are the things, the key things that they need to work on in their business and with their personality to help drive their businesses forward. Okay, so Louisa, which one, if you're with us, and do you think you most associate with, or can you see a percentage of yourself in each one of those? Again, when you're on your normal and when you're on your in your highest setting too, when the pressure's on. So let me know what you think. And what I recommend that you do is go to that link, which I think should be above the video. Click on that. There's about 30 questions there. They're all multiple choice. Just go with the one that you don't overthink it. Just go with it. See which coaching style comes up for you, which looks like your most dominant one. Put your email address in, get that PDF, have a good read through it, and then cross out, or highlight rather, what applies to you. And then you will be able to see your strengths and your challenges as an emotional health coach when it comes to working with your clients and running your business. Okay, let me know. Mix of those last two, you reckon? Yeah. So the intuitive and the optimum, definitely. And usually it's the intuitive and the optimum that go together, and the compassionate and the intuitive that go together as well. Very rarely do you find somebody who is the compassionate and the optimum. So when you mix those up, it's usually those. All right, brilliant. So, okay, if you've got any questions on that, then let me know. If there's anything that you want to ask me, then feel free to do so. You're more than welcome to direct message me if you've got questions on this, and get that PDF. It's good fun. Everything that we do in the academy is good fun, to be honest. So it's learning about yourself, learning the psychology, learning about yourself, learning about other people. It's a really, really good topic. It's always good fun. You know, when you think of mental health, it can be quite, people can think about it quite negatively, like it's hard wearing, like it's going to be hard work. But it's not. When you understand your own mental health and emotional well-being, when you've got your own thumbprint, if you like, and you understand your own formula, life just gets so much easier, and it's fun. It's a real fun thing to find out. And when you find all this stuff out about yourself, you can kind of let go of all the other stuff that holds you back. And that's what we do with our clients. We do it with our coaches, we do it with our clients. And this is kind of like a really good step for you to take to find out a little bit more about yourself there. Okay, that's it. I'm going to head off and go and have some birthday breakfast. So thank you for wishing me a happy birthday there, Louisa. Have a great day, and I will speak to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.